Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, and all of today's guests, including Todd Diamond, standing by, brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Experience West Coast luxury and Vancouver Island's winter charm with the Bayside Oceanfront Resort's winter getaway. Stay 2 nights or more and enjoy 25% off, now available every day of the week. Call them directly at 250-248-8333 or visit BaysideResortParksville.com and book your winter escape today. We're joined now by Todd Diamond, NHL player, agent, and advisor. He represents, among others, Kevin Lankinen, advisor to Tom Willander, both in the Canuck organization. Todd, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
Very well, very well. Let's start with Kevin Lankinen. I think I know the answer. You're his agent, but what's your opinion of the season he's having in Vancouver?
Well, I think, Kevin has done a tremendous job to date. Kind of came in right as camp had already started. So, flying halfway across the world to make that happen. I think he's done a really nice job. And I think people can see, what his capabilities are. And he still has some room to grow.
Hey, Todd, he's been so strong here. Looking back to the fall, what took him so long? What took you and him so long to find a team?
You have to bring up the past. But I mean, it was honestly it was a very strange off season. Especially in the goaltending market. If you look a little bit at things now, you have some of the best teams in the league, like Washington, and they come into the season under $2 million committed to goaltending, and the Edmonton Oilers come in at a little over 3.5, and a handful of other teams between 3 and 4.5 million. I just think it's it was just a very strange situation. People forget that free agency is kind of like any other market. Sometimes you buy a stock too high, sometimes you buy too low, sometimes you should have bought something that you could have bought, and sometimes you pass on something that you should have bought. So it was very strange for us because I really think in this case that that I knew the goalie better than the market did, but we just didn't make it happen with anybody. We thought we had him priced right, but I think in this business you would be surprised how little sometimes teams watch other players. I mean, teams are just so focused on 2 points, really focused on what's going on in their own backyard, that sometimes you don't really understand, guys in other teams.
Hey, Todd, you know the story. He's been a rare bright spot for the Canucks this season. It's been awful. Last night against the Kings is just horrible. But he's scheduled, Kevin, is to become a UFA. Have you opened up talks yet with the Canucks?
He is scheduled to become a UFA. I've had some conversations with Patrick, but we haven't really gotten into any nitty-gritty. Like pretty much been out there in the media in the last couple of weeks. There's still a lot of uncertainty at the final cap number for 25-26. We could possibly get a larger cap than initially projected. So I just think it's common sense to maybe wait and see how it's going to turn out. It'll make not only things easier for Kevin and the Canucks, but for the entire league.
What are some other factors, Todd, in re-signing in Vancouver? Does he like it here? The goalie coach. Tell us a little bit about Todd, Kevin's likability with Vancouver. Does he want to re-sign with the Canucks?
His first impressions, and now several halfway through the season. Very positive, really likes the community, the area, the teammates, the coaching. There are really no negatives, but, as you guys know, that's not the only thing that goes into getting a contract done. But, obviously, Kevin, everybody want to win. Every team in the league has their ups and downs throughout the season. the teams that can kind of keep that as short as possible are the ones that are going to make the playoffs. So obviously, he's hopeful that they can pull together and get things back on track where they had a little bit earlier in the season.
All right, you got a very important client in Vancouver, a very big part of their future, defenseman Tom Willander at Boston University. Talk about his season so far at Boston. Also had a good tournament at the World Juniors for Sweden as well, Todd.
Yeah, he did. Tom is, he's a really, really fine young man. Already has really good professional traits. He competes, which I think is so important in today's game. He hates to get beaten one-on-one. He's great at containment, which is almost a lost art in this league. So he's got a lot of really good traits that should, give him kind of a little bit of a head start, maybe than some other young players trying to break in. But he's having a strong season. He had a good World Juniors. He's having a good season at BU. Obviously, they're trying to win the Hockey East division. So with respect to, I know you're probably going to follow up with what's going to happen next season. We haven't really gotten there. When Tom committed to BU, our conversations with him and his family were that, he'd play the first 2 years and then we'd kind of see where things were at. And nothing has really changed from that approach. So, we just want to be respectful of what BU's trying to accomplish, let that play out. And then we can get together with the Canucks and see if the timing is right for everybody.
What are, as an advisor of a kid in college, what are some of the reasons you go pro or you stay in college one more year? What do you guys look at?
We usually advise, players not to expect that everything is going to be perfect. A lot of guys come out and they, think I'm going to make this roster or not roster. We want Tom to have both feet on the ground. But I think you need to look at, the state of in Tom's situation, the state of the defense, the contracts. Guys are expiring and they're not expiring. Guys who, play on the shoot right. So, these are some of the factors. And then most importantly, if the player is really, emotionally ready to turn pro, make those adjustments, take maybe some of those initial lumps that anybody's going to have when you move up, to compete in an NHL training camp and exhibition games. We just try and get, Tom ready to come in as humble as possible and as competitive as possible.
Got to ask you about a player that Vancouver fans love, Todd. Nikita Triumphant, give us an update. I get on Twitter every day. Dollywall, give us a Nikita Triumphant update. Hey, first of all, why didn't he resign in Vancouver? Second of all, how is he doing in Russia?
He didn't resign in Vancouver. It just didn't make financial. That's going back a ways with Vancouver specifically. The numbers were off a little bit for him to make the decision to move with him and his family. The first time he was over, he had just gotten married. He didn't have kids to think about yet. So that played a big factor in things. Last time, again, we didn't sign with the league. The cap was not going anywhere. It was very difficult, again, to find a number that made sense for him to uproot the family and move over. But Nikita's doing what Nikita does, playing a hard game, moving well for a big man. I don't know. His contract does expire in Russia, but we haven't had any discussions about the future.
So there's no chance that Trampkin and Willander could join the Canucks like in the next week or so to help them out, Todd? Because they need it.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango.
Yeah. You can say no comment. Hey, Todd, thanks for this. I know you're busy. Appreciate it. All the best.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
You bet.